So simple tutorial.
Without competition between political parties and fair elections, democracy is meaningless. Political parties play an important role in the functioning of a representative democracy. In a representative democracy, the country is run by the representatives who are elected by the people. Who are these representatives? They are normally the candidates given by the political parties. Good morning students, this is Vijay Singh, your social science teacher for grade 10 and you are watching So Simple tutorial. Today we are doing one short revision of the lesson Political Parties. What is meant by a political party? A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. So the main objective is to acquire power, to hold power in the government. What are the features of a political party? 1. It is an organized group of people. It is not a crowd. It has a constitution. It follows a set of rules and regulations, and obedience to these rules is mandatory. Its aim is to gain control of the government by constitutional and peaceful means. That means by winning with a majority in a free and fair elections. They have faith in ballot boxes. They don't believe in using force to achieve their objectives. This group holds similar views on political, social and economic problems faced by the country and their solutions. They prepare their election manifesto and put before the people their programs to be followed by them if they win and come to power. Therefore, every effort is made by all the political parties to see that the people come to know their future programs. You all know what happens during the election campaign. Since every political party puts their point of view, people have enough material before them to make their decisions. Political parties involve partisanship. That means they support a predetermined view about an issue. Since political parties reflect fundamental political divisions in the society, they are known by which part it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interests it upholds. Okay. The political party has three components. First, the leaders. Every party has leaders. Their job is to determine the policies and formulate the plan of action to achieve the goals laid before the party. They define the party ideology based on the public opinion and leave the party with the aim to acquire a decisive victory in the elections. Second, the active members. A political party must have active members. The active members give shape to the action plan and put it in practice. They attend party meetings. They carry out the functions of the party to garner public support for their ideologies and work towards winning the elections. Third, the followers. Every political party has followers. The followers form the support base of the party. They are normally the ordinary citizen who believe in the policies of the respective parties. They support the party passively from outside without actually participating in its activities except for voting during elections. Let us now revisit an important question: necessity of political parties. Modern democracies cannot exist without political parties. First, for that, let us examine a situation without political parties. Since there is no political party, all candidates will be independent. In that case, what will be the utility of the government that will be formed? No candidate will be able to make any promises to the people about any major policy changes. When there are political parties, people know the policy and programs of different political parties. What will happen now? What policies or policy changes these individuals, independent candidates will talk about? Also, all those sitting in the legislature will be individual units with no similar views or opinion on an issue. There is no binding force between the individual candidates. How will they pass the bill? Every candidate will be accountable to their constituencies, but who will be responsible for how the country will run? Thus, we realize here the need for political parties. Political parties contest elections in all the constituencies. When the candidates win, they follow the party lines and the parties make policies for the country. Let us now try to understand it in a different way. Think about the panchayat elections. What happens in a panchayat election? Panchayat elections are normally contested on non-party lines. During the elections, the village gets split into group or faction, and each group puts up a panel of candidates. This is exactly what the party does. Let us have a third explanation. Large societies need representative democracy. As societies become large and complex, they also need some agency to gather different views on various issues and to present these to the government. They needed some ways to bring about various representatives together so that responsible government would be formed. They needed a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. Political parties fulfill these needs that every representative government has. That is why political parties are needed, and we can say that parties are a necessary condition for a democracy. Let us now revise functions of a political party. Basically, political parties fill political offices and exercise political power. Parties do so by performing a series of functions. Let us discuss a few of them. First, political parties contest elections. In most democracies, elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by the political parties. These candidates, who are nominated by the parties, get the party symbol and support. Parties select the candidates in different ways in different countries. In some countries, such as the USA, members and supporters of the party choose its candidates, whereas in our country, top party leaders choose candidates for contesting elections. Second, parties put forward different policies and programs before the people. They prepare their election manifesto and put before the people clear-cut programs which will be followed by them if they come to power. On the basis of these programs, voters decide which party to vote for and which party to ignore. Third, parties play a decisive role in making laws for the country. Once elected, these legislators try to achieve the goals of their party through legislation and program initiatives. Different bills and proposals are floated in the legislatures. Political parties form their views on these bills and accordingly direct their members to vote for or against them. This is how laws are made in the legislature. Fourth function, parties form and run government. We already know that the party which gets a majority of seats in the election is invited to form the government. So they form the government and run it responsibly. Since they have the mandate of the people, they implement their policies and programs. The policy decisions that are taken by political executives come from political parties. It is the political parties that recruit leaders, train them, and then make the ministers to run the government in the way they want. Fifth, they play the role of opposition. Opposition has a very important role in a democratically elected legislature. Those political parties who do not get enough numbers in the elections to form the government play the role of opposition to the parties in power. The main function of the opposition party inside the legislature is constructive criticism of the government. They criticize the government for its failures or wrong policies. They put restrictions on the arbitrariness of the ruling party. Thus, they check the government from assuming dictatorial powers. The ruling party can be questioned by the opposition. The opposition can move different motions such as the adjournment motion or the no confidence motion in the legislature. Even outside the legislature, it exposes the anti-people policies of the government through demonstrations. The ruling party thus cannot overlook the opposition who is always ready to bite. This makes the government very cautious in its work. Next, parties shape public opinion. They raise and highlight issues. Parties have lakhs of members and activists spread all over the country who spread the views of their party. They use all means like press, TV, street meetings or padyatra to mold public opinion in their favor. In 2014 elections, BJP raised the issue of corruption against the incumbent ruling party. This was highlighted in every speech, in every rally. People used to see them on TV. Thus, BJP succeeded in shaping the public opinion against them. This created an intense anti-incumbency wave against the ruling party. The result was that the ruling party lost badly in the elections. Next, parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by governments. Political parties act as a link between the people and the government. It is easier for a common man to approach a local party leader than a government official. The local party leader has to listen to the problems faced by the people and help them. Parties have to be responsive to the needs and demands of people, otherwise, people can reject them in the next elections. That is why people feel close to the parties even when they do not fully trust them. Whenever the government launches some welfare schemes, the party workers make a concerted effort to reach out to the beneficiaries of these schemes so that people are informed about the scheme and they take full benefits of the scheme. Let us now revise the next topic, types of party system. In some countries, only one party is allowed to control and run the government. They follow one party system. All political activities are confined to this party alone. Germany under Hitler was one such case. China today is another example. Although, legally speaking, people are free to form political parties, but it doesn't happen because the electoral system doesn't permit free competition of power. We don't consider one party system as democratic because any democratic system must allow at least two parties to compete in the elections and provide a fair chance for the competing parties to come to power. In China, people have no say in the choice of the rulers. They also have no peaceful methods of changing their rulers too. All powers are concentrated with one party. There is no power sharing. Since there is only one party, there is no political competition. Therefore, it need not always be responsive to the needs and aspirations to the people. This is a big disadvantage. Let us now see bi-party system. In some countries, power usually changes between two main parties. There may be other parties that contest elections and win few seats, but only two main parties have a serious chance of winning a majority of seats to form the government. Such a system is called a bi-party system or two-party system. The United States of America and the United Kingdom are examples of a two-party system. The main advantage of the two-party system is the stability of the government in power. The position of the Prime Minister in a two-party system is very strong. He is a strong backing of the members of his party. Are there any disadvantages of two-party system? Yes, it does not suit to a diverse country like India. The voters do not enjoy much choice. So, let us now see multi-party system. If several parties compete for power and more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to power either on their own strength or in alliance with others, we call it a multi-party system. In India, we have a multi-party system. There are many political parties in our country. More than 750 parties are registered with the Election Commission of India, but not all these parties are serious contenders in the elections. Usually, only a handful of parties are effectively in the race to win the elections and form the government. In this system, the government is formed by various parties coming together in a coalition. When several parties in a multi-party system join hands for the purpose of contesting elections and winning power, it is called an alliance or a front. For example, in India, there were three such major alliances in the 2004 parliamentary elections. One was BJP-led NDA, the other was Congress-led UPA and the Left Front. To update you, let me add that in June 2023, some 26 parties came together to form a new alliance called the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance or India to take on BJP in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. In this election, this alliance got 234 seats and is sitting in opposition now. The biggest disadvantage of a multi-party system is that it leads to political instability. The advantage of this system is that it allows a variety of interests and opinions to enjoy political representation. It also provides a chance even to small and local parties to flourish and to be a part of the government. Students, the party system is not something any country can choose. It evolves over a long time. If India has evolved a multi-party system, it is because the social and geographical diversity in such a large country is not easily absorbed by two or three parties. Let us now revise the national and state parties. National parties first. How does the Election Commission recognize a political party as a national party? The party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in Lok Sabha or assembly elections in 4 states and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha is recognized as a national party. According to this classification, there are 6 recognized national parties in the country as per the notification of the Election Commission issued in 2023. Let us see who they are. First, Aam Aadmi Party. This party was formed in 2012. Its symbol is broom, that is jhadu. Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh, etc. are its top leaders. The party was founded on the idea of accountability, clean administration, transparency, and good governance. Second, Bahujan Samaj Party. This party was founded in 1984 under the leadership of Kanshi Ram. Its symbol is elephant. Its top leader today is Mayawati. It seeks to represent and secure power for the Bahujan Samaj, which includes the Dalits, Adivasis, OBs, and religious minorities. This party draws its inspirations from the ideas and teachings of Sahu Maharaj, Mahatma Phule, Periyar, and Baba Saheb Ambedkar. It has a strong base in the states of UP, MP, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, and Punjab. Next, Bharatiya Janata Party. This party was founded in 1980 by reviving the Bharatiya Jansangh by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Its symbol is lotus. Its top leaders are Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. This party wants to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient cultures and value and Deen Dayal Upadhyay's ideas of integral humanism and Antyodaya. It wants full territorial integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India. Presently, this job is done. The special status of Jammu and Kashmir exists no more today. It also wants a uniform civil code for all people living in the country. It is against religious conversion. This party is currently leading the India government at the center. Next, Communist Party of India, Marxist, CPI-M. This party was founded in 1964. Its symbol is hammer and sickle. Its top leaders are Sitaram Yechuri and Prakash Karat. This party is critical of the new economic policies that allow free flow of foreign capitals and goods into the country. This party was in power in West Bengal without any break for 34 years. It enjoys strong support in West Bengal, Kerala, and Tripura, especially among the poor factory workers, farmers, agricultural laborers, and the intelligentsia. Next, Indian National Congress. This is the oldest party founded in 1885. Its symbol is hand. Its top leaders are Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. After India got independence, this party dominated Indian politics for several decades. It is a centrist party. It espouses secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minorities. It supports new economic reforms but with a human face. This party has led the UPA government from 2004 to 2014. In 2019 Lok Sabha elections, it got 19.5% votes and 52 seats. In the recently concluded 2024 Lok Sabha elections, it got 21% votes and 99 seats. Next, National People's Party (NPP). This party was formed in 2013 under the leadership of P.A. Sangma. P.A. Sangma has been the Speaker of Lok Sabha from 1996 to 1998. Its symbol is a book. This is the first party from the Northeast to have the status of a national party. The core philosophy of this party is education and employment to all, as well as empowerment to all sections of society. Let us now revise state parties. Other than these 6 national parties, most of the major parties of the country are classified by the Election Commission as state parties. They are also called as regional parties. But what is the criteria laid down by the Election Commission? A party is recognized as a state party if it secures at least 6% of total votes in an election to the Legislative Assembly of the state and wins at least 2 seats. It must satisfy both the conditions. Look at this map. Rajasthan, Gujarat, MP, Uttarakhand and Chhattisgarh have no regional parties, so there is a direct fight between BJP and Congress. Rest all states have regional parties. It is difficult to cover all the state parties, but let me quickly cover a few, at least 5. In Jharkhand, the main regional parties are Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and All Jharkhand Student Union. JMM is presently ruling the state with Hemant Soren as the chief minister. In neighboring Bihar, the two important regional parties are RJD and Janata Dal United. Presently, Nitish Kumar from JDU, an ally of NDA, is ruling there. In UP, Samajwadi Party and Rashtriya Lok Dal are the regional parties. Samajwadi Party has been ruling UP since 2012 and had been in power in the state for about a decade. Since it was founded in 1992, it had also shared power at the center. In Punjab, Shiromani Akali Dal is a regional party. It is a very old party. It also has been a part of the NDA for a long time. Just recently, it had severed its ties with the NDA on the issue of Farm Bill. In Tamil Nadu, there are two main parties, AIA, DMK and DMK. Power normally alternates between these two parties. Now go through the map yourselves. Don't ignore the party symbols. Let us now revise challenges to political parties. People generally show their disappointment with the political parties. Political parties need to face and overcome some of these challenges to remain effective instruments of democracy. Challenge number 1. Lack of internal democracy within parties. A political party that does not respect democratic principles in its internal working cannot be expected to respect those principles in the governance of the country. It cannot be dictatorship internally and democratic in its function outside. All over the world, there is a tendency in political parties towards the concentration of power in one or two leaders at the top. Parties do not keep membership registers. Parties do not hold organizational meetings. Parties do not conduct internal elections regularly. Parties fail to establish a link with its members operating at the grassroots level. There is no discussion or consultation with ordinary members when setting the party agenda. Ordinary members of the party thus do not get a chance to take part in the decision-making process. Thus, they do not have the means or the connections needed to influence the decisions. Only few members in the party assume important role. Since only one or few leaders exercise paramount power in the party, so those who disagree with the leadership find it difficult to continue in the party. Young politicians find it difficult to climb the ranks. It is therefore necessary to introduce internal democracy and accountability in the working of the political parties. Challenge number 2. Challenge of dynastic succession. Dynastic succession means a succession of rulers from the same family or line or a family or group that maintains power for several generations. In India, barring a few exceptions, this challenge is faced by almost all the political parties today. Most of the political parties, both at the national and state level, are being led by the family. The top positions are always controlled by the members of one family. This gives unfair advantage to people close to them or their family members. People who do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy positions of power. This is clearly visible during distribution of tickets during elections. You will also find senior party leaders fielding their sons, daughters or nephews in the elections. Sometimes constituencies become family constituencies. If a senior leader declines to contest elections, the obvious choice for that constituency becomes his daughter or the son first. This tendency is bad. This is against democracy. This is a hindrance for ordinary citizens who aspire to join politics. There is almost no way for an ordinary worker to rise to the top in a party. It is therefore necessary that talented individuals rise on merit and gain a space in national politics if the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha is to be prevented from becoming a Vansh Sabha. Challenge number 3. Growing role of money and muscle power in parties, especially during elections. Multiple parties try to win elections by any means possible, so they use unfair means. They nominate candidates with a lot of money so that it can be spent on elections. The rich candidates or companies that fund or donate to a party usually get a say in the party decisions or policies. Sometimes parties even hire or nominate criminals as candidates because of their influence. We already know that no party or candidate can spend more than the limit specified for them in the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha elections. Yet we know that they spend more than the limit, making sure that they are not caught in the process. The growing role of money and muscle power is thus a matter to worry for all of us. Challenge number 4. Parties do not seem to offer a meaningful choice to the voters. Think, when there are so many parties operating before the people, how the parties fail to offer a meaningful choice? Why do you think that the major parties are like each other in policies as well as in practice? In recent years, there has been a decline in the ideological differences among parties in most parts of the world. England has two major parties, Labour and the Conservatives, but the difference between these two parties is very little. They agree on fundamental aspects but differ only in details on how policies are to be framed and implemented. In our country also, the differences among the major parties, Congress and BJP, on the economic policies have reduced. Both these parties follow the same lines. Sometimes people cannot even elect very different leaders either because the same set of leaders keep shifting from one party to another. All these confuse the voters. Now the question is, are political parties willing to reform? If they are willing, what has prevented them from reforming so far? If they are not willing, how can anyone force them to change? So let us go to the next topic, steps taken to reform political parties. First, we will revise some measures already taken in recent times. First, enactment of anti-defection law. This law, students, was enacted by our parliament in 1985. It says that if any MLA or MP changes parties, he or she will lose the seat in the legislature. This new law has helped bring defection down. MPs and MLAs must accept whatever the party leaders decide. Second, step taken by the Supreme Court. Students, recall the nomination process of candidates. Along with the nomination form, a candidate has to make a legal declaration giving full details of any serious criminal case pending against him or her. He has to give details of all his as well as his family's assets and liabilities. He has to tell his educational qualification. This system of declaration was introduced on the directions from the Supreme Court to reduce the influence of money and criminals. This information has to be made public. It provides the voters an opportunity to make their decision based on the information provided by the candidates. Third, step taken by the Election Commission. The Election Commission passed an order making it necessary for political parties to hold organizational elections and file their income tax returns. The parties have started doing so, but sometimes it is a mere formality. It is not clear if this step has led to a greater internal democracy in political parties. So, these are some steps which are already taken to reform the parties. Besides these, many suggestions are often made to reform political parties. Suggestion number 1. To regulate the internal affairs of political parties, it should be made compulsory for political parties to maintain a register of its members, to follow its own constitution, to have an independent authority, to act as a judge in case of party disputes, to hold open elections to the highest posts. Suggestion number 2. Keeping in view the less presence of women inside the party as well as in the legislature, it is suggested that 1. There should be a quota for women in the decision-making bodies of the party. 2. It should be made mandatory for political parties to give a minimum one-third of tickets to women candidates. A law regarding this is already passed by the Parliament, which will be implemented only after the delimitation exercise, which is due in 2026, is completed. Suggestion number 3. This is regarding state funding to parties. Students, political parties need funds to finance their campaign and routine activities. One of the primary sources of this funding is voluntary contributions made by individuals. In addition, corporate houses also pay hefty contributions to parties, but contributions from corporate houses are largely from undeclared income and hence contribution is not recorded. Our Prime Minister wants a debate on transparency in political funding as part of the drive to clean up black money. Many recommend that the best way to reduce corruption and achieve transparency is by funding elections with government money, as opposed to individual or corporate contributions. The government should give parties money to support their election expenses. This support can be given in kind like petrol, papers, telephone, etc., or it can be given in cash on the basis of the votes secured by the party in the last election. These suggestions have not been accepted by any political party so far. But there are other ways also in which political parties can be reformed. 1. People can put pressure on political parties. Ordinary citizens, pressure groups and movements and the media can play an important role in this. But remember, political parties are very thick-skinned. They would not be ready for reforms easily unless they feel that they would lose public support by not taking up reforms. Secondly, political parties can improve if those who want to reform politics as well as political parties join political parties. The quality of democracy depends on the degree of public participation. It is difficult to reform politics if ordinary citizens do not take part in it and simply criticize it from outside. With this, my dear students, we come to the end of revision. I hope you must have benefited from it. In the next class, we will meet with the revision of the last lesson, Outcomes of Democracy. In this channel, besides lessons and one short revision, you also get MCQs. Very shortly, you will get competency based MCQs. So subscribe to this channel and stay connected. Jai Hind.